Welcome to a lesson with Dr. Powell. Let's take a look at how we can take a function like this and rewrite it as a composition of three functions. Let's see how we might go about doing this. Well, first of all, let's just kind of read what this says. We start with x as our input, and then first we put x into g, and we output something. Well, let's think about how this expression is made. Do you notice anything that repeats? The smallest expression that you see kind of repeating? You could think of x as repeating, but you could also think of x plus 3 as repeating. That actually looks pretty good. So if I'm building this expression up by putting something into something else, well, notice how an x plus 3 has been inserted into something. So maybe the first thing to do is to take x to x plus 3 so we could begin thinking about what's happening with x plus 3. That would be a good choice for g. Now let's think about what h should do. Well, h is going to take the block x plus 3 and do stuff with it. What does it do to that block? Well, doesn't it do this? It does that like that. Yep, it takes that block and it does this. That's pretty good. We're going to have x plus 3. Okay. So it takes this block and then it does something with that block. Notice that the only things that h is doing is with that block. So we're pretty good. Now, what's the next thing to build this expression? Well, the last thing, maybe that can be what k does. You just take the square root of all of that. And actually, that just takes us right back to what we want, up to what we want. So let's write out what g is and h is and k is. So g can be written like this. G of x is equal to x plus 3. H of x, now be careful here. H is going to do stuff with blocks. So we're going to think of replacing each block with x. So what are we doing with that block? Well, that block is going to now be x with here because x represents input for our function h. So you take the block, you square it, minus 2 all over the block x. So basically what you do is you take this and every time you see a block that came from the last part, you just replace it with x. There's your function h. Now what about k? Now k, you're taking this whole bit as a huge block, and what are you doing with that block? You're just taking the square root of it. So really we just have square root of block, where block is like x. So this is just k of x would be square root of x. So if we have k of x is square root of x, h of x is x squared minus 2 over x, and g of x is equal to x plus 3, we should get this equality here as desired. You can even check it. Let's just kind of work through it. Okay, let's rewrite this and just see what it looks like. So this is really k of h of g of x. Okay, so first let's take the output of g of x, which is x plus 3. And let's plug into h. Now, what is it when we plug it into h? We just get, well, x plus 3 goes into wherever x is. We make slots for it. So we have x plus 3 squared minus 2 all over x plus 3. Okay, so a slot for the x. In fact, if you wanted to, when you're plugging things in, you could just think, okay, we're plugging something into h. So you just kind of open up the x and make it a slot. And then you put in what's going in here in these parentheses, what's in that input slot for h. Okay, so that's the output of h of x plus 3. And then we plug that into the k function. Now, so we just put this onto the input of the k function, which just means square rooting. So you should output square root of x plus 3 quantity squared minus 2 all over x plus 3, and that is it. So we have been successful at finding three functions such that when they compose together, we get this one. Thanks for watching.